Hello, this is Marian Gellatly with Powerful Presence here today on Sunday, and it is the 11th day of our 12 days of 2020 holiday style. So, today, what I wanted to talk to you about was how to step up your look, your holiday look, using some cosmetics. Um, when dressing for the holidays, your makeup should be equivalent to the level of your dress. So, what I mean by that is when you dress up, maybe like the way I'm dressed up today, when you're dressed up like I am today, and you don't put on makeup, there's a disconnect between the clothing and the face. So, the idea with makeup is that you really create harmony with how you're dressed. Now, just the opposite is true, and that is when you dress down, but you put on a real glam look, well, that's a disconnect as well. I don't think most of us do that. Maybe if you're in your 20s, you might, but most of my clients, I think, have a tendency to go the other way where they minimize their makeup even when they're dressing for more formal occasions. Now, I know that we don't have a lot of choices this holiday season in terms of what we're doing. But one of the things we are doing is we are getting on Zoom. And I've been on meetings and I've been on a gala celebration, and I know I'm going to be celebrating with family. So this is one of the occasions where if we're going to, level up our dress from the bust up, then make sure we include the face too. So let me give you some key ways that we can, or key places on our body that we can go ahead and power up or pizzazz up or sparkle up our look for the holiday season. So let's begin with, get out my handy dandy photos. Let's begin with having a smoky eye. I think that's one of the ways that you can bring a little drama. And when you're dressed up and you've got sparkles like I have on today, kind of dressing up the face as well to add a little more drama to support the clothing you may have on. It's also a smoky eye is a perfect look for that intimate candlelight dinner that you're going to have with your husband on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve or whatever the case may be. Um, I want to just show you some photos that I thought were very helpful. And it starts up at the top and goes across and then down each row, but shows you that this is the way you get to a smoky eye. It's essentially just overlaying color on top of color till you finally get down here to the result. And maybe you're going to stop at, this level or even this level here. But you can see how the application of getting to the smoky eye is happening. So that's, I think, something fun. And you can find this, of course, on Google. We find everything on Google, don't we? Here would be another photo of maybe doing some other colors or slightly different applications, slightly different levels of how much you're going to layer on, and also places to actually apply. So, take a peek on Google because you'll find all kinds of wonderful things. I, of course, am not a makeup artist, but I, like to learn a lot of these things, and one of my resources happens to be the Google. What I wanted to also show you was, let's see if we could get this without getting everything else behind me. How about this palette? So this, I'm showing you everything that's going, all right, there we go. There we go. All right, so this palette is a Bobbi Brown palette. You can see it's got a lot of sparkle. So every year, most of the cosmetic companies come out with some sort of a holiday palette. And this is the palette that I purchased a couple of years ago. What I wanted to show you is if I show you my color palette or a piece of my color palette, My eye color is here. And then right here is kind of my blush color. And in between would be my skin tone. You can see how this palette works back to my color palette really nicely, because there's the brown of my eye. There is the peachy pink of my skin tone. There is, the gray or the black to do my highlighting, and also some other colors to highlight. Some of them are sparkle, some of them are not, depending on how you like to apply and where you like to apply your sparkle. But having it work back to your color palette is a really great way to use your palette. So, because I have clients say to me all the time, oh, I'm not sure, what color should I be wearing for makeup or for eyeshadow? And I just refer them right back to their color palette and say, okay, let's talk about which colors on your color palette would be great highlighters and which one you can use for your eyeliner, your mascara, etc., etc. Okay, so that's a little bit about eyes. And then, of course, lipstick red. Um, okay, you see the vibrancy, and yet you see that we've got everything from, the pink color to sort of the color that's more neutralized to the warmer color. So depending on, again, your color palette, and depending on, what level of intensity you're okay with. I happen to be somebody that likes to have an intense lip. So, wearing my red that happens to be on my palette, let me show you that. Okay. So there you're seeing my hair, my skin tones, my blush, and then reds that really work good for me. So what I do is I look at my red sticks and I go ahead and I pull a red lipstick. So this red lipstick right here, do you see that? Now, I don't wear that color red every single day. So the other color I use is this one, which falls into this area right here. Do you see how I'm using the palette? So my daytime every day, and then my red intensity right off my color palette. So those of you that have color palettes, make sure you go back and really kind of look at them with a new eye, with the idea of selecting colors from the palette. And if you don't have a palette, then it's time for you to get in touch with me and let's work on that. Okay, this is what I wanted to say about the product that I love. And this is a Chanel. These two are Chanel. And I get them, well, sometimes I get them at Macy's, but Macy's doesn't have quite the color selection. Look at all the colors that you can get. And this came off of the Neiman Marcus website. All kinds of colors. And when you click on the little color icon there, it will blow it up a little bit so you can see it with, greater accuracy. So you can put on just one swipe of color, or you can put on a double swipe depending on how intense you want it. And the way this works is that the color is on one side. You put that on first, you let it set for a couple minutes while you're doing other makeup application, and then you put on the gloss on top. And I can tell you, because I do a lot of speaking and I'm in a lot of meetings and so forth, I can put my makeup on in the morning, or my lipstick on in the morning. I can go through lunch and probably don't have to reapply until mid-afternoon after I've had coffee or, a snack or something. So I highly recommend the product. It's not inexpensive. It's $38, but it lasts a long time and you only have to apply it once, maybe twice a day, and that's it. So I think it's well worth it. All right, so lipstick red. Let's talk about the other place that we can add a little pizzazz using cosmetics, and that is, through use of our nail application. Now, I don't know, you may be like me. I don't color my nails much, and the reason I don't is because I just don't take the time. But what I do like to do is I do like to do the natural nail, kind of the French manicure, and look how cute that would be to bring us into the holiday season. The little red and green dots and the holly right there. I just thought that was fun. And here, I think purples and Bordeaux's and cranberries and scarlet. I mean, you choose your color again, going to the palette and looking at the palette. And if I were to go ahead and choose one, I would be choosing this one. And you can just see, you know, again, with my lipstick and the clothing I'm wearing, that would be a great color. One of the things I wanted to go back and say about the lipstick that I think is important is now that we're wearing masks, you know, this long lasting lipstick is really good to keep us from transferring the lipstick onto our mask. So, FYI. Okay, then how about a little bit of blush? Okay, so a blush that has a little sparkle to it. And I love the sparkly blushes. You know, I don't use them every day, but I do use them in the evenings. And what it does is it just brings up a little bit of a luster or glitter, very light, very subtle, but just enough that when it picks up the light, it gets a little shimmer. So you can see here I've got two colors, one for the warmer skin tone, one for the cooler skin tone. And again, these came off of the Neiman's catalog or online site. Now, what I want to see, do I have any comments today? Let's see here. I don't think so. I don't see any. So if you have any comments, I want you to go ahead and put them in. I know that Betty asked in one of the previous days, she asked me to talk about eyebrows. And I don't know specifically, Betty, what you wanted to know about eyebrows, but I would say eyebrows are really important. And the reason they are is because they're what frame the eye. And the eye is the communication center. So as we get a little bit older, there are a couple things that happen. Number one, our coloring, our natural coloring does start to fade. And number two, we start to get these little white hairs in our eyebrows. And sometimes they're not very friendly because they like to go whoop, straight out or up or down or whatever, rather than, you know, be as soft as the others. So sometimes we have to deal with those. And I don't know what the proper way of dealing with them is, but I'll tell you what I do. And that is if it's just a single little white hair, I'll go ahead and actually pull it out. If it's a lot of them, then I would suggest that you go ahead and ask your hair colorist or your hair cutter to, or even a local spa, local esthetician to go ahead and dye the eyebrow. And I know I've done that a couple of times. And when I've gotten up off the table and looked at the mirror, it was like, whoa, really dark. But they fade, you know, relatively quickly. So just be careful not to go overboard with the color. I think you're better off keeping your eyebrow color, you know, in line with your hair color as much as possible. Unless you have really light hair color, then you're going to want to maybe look at the roots and look at the dark part of the root and do something like that with the eyebrow. But don't go overboard dark with your eyebrows because I think that just doesn't look too natural. Yes, Peggy. Yes, letting it cure before you add the lip gloss is really important to get it to last a long time. So here was the picture I wanted to just, you know, show you in terms of demonstrating the difference of no makeup versus makeup, and especially when it comes to the eyebrows. You can see how the eyebrows here just really now have you, it draws attention to the eye. And I think that's really important. So either use your own eyebrow powder, have them dyed, have them also shaped. I think that's really important to have them shaped and make sure that the shape of the eyebrow is in keeping with your overall shape of your face. Here's another example of somebody with lighter coloring. And you can just see by filling that in ever so softly how it refines the eye and just completes the look. So if you have any questions about, eyeshadow palettes or lipsticks or nail polish or blush, using your palette for your makeup, your eyebrows, lastly, let's talk about the tools, because I think it's really important to have the proper tools to actually apply the makeup. Now, I think I've told you many times, I am not I'm kind of simple. I don't like to fuss a whole lot. So I know some women have just, brushes after brushes after brushes. And what I do is this is my favorite brush. It's an angle brush, as you can see. And this brush, I think, is great for putting on. I use a powder shadow for my eyebrows. I use a powder actually for everything. So I use the powder for my eyebrows, and I'll just go ahead and, you can get a nice shape there with the angle. I also use this to dip into my eyeshadow with a little bit of water, and I use that to create my eyeliner. Okay, see, so I'm just kind of using one thing for a lot of different purposes. So this is probably my favorite. This is my blush brush, and obviously cannot live without my blush brush. I learned something recently that I thought was interesting. And I'd always been taught that you you smile, you look at the apple of the eye, and then you apply it right on the apple of the eye. Well, sometimes what happens is it goes above the eye and it goes above the cheek and it closes in the eye. So what I've learned is actually you apply your shadow slightly below the apple. So down here. And even though this is, kind of pink, I think that's the flush on my face right at the moment because it's warm in here with the lights on and so forth. But I actually put the blush below the apple of my eye and came out to, the side of my face. So try that and see. On one side, do it up a little higher. On the other side, do it a little lower and see how that affects your eye. To me, it really noticeably opened up my eye. So helpful hint for the day. This is another favorite tool of mine, and that is simply my little eyebrow brush. So I brush down, I put on my eyebrow pencil or eyebrow shadow in my case, and then I go ahead and just shape them back into place. So another important thing. This I bought, and I can tell you that I really don't use it all that much. And this was I used to use a sponge to put on my makeup, my foundation, and I always thought that was great. And then somebody said, that actually adds quite a bit of texture to your skin. So if you don't want texture, don't use a sponge. Oh, I didn't know that. So I bought this little brush, and it's not bad. It's kind of smooth and gives you a nice little massage. But what Marion, the simple one, literally uses my finger, and I pat and I smooth and I pat and I smooth. And for me, that works really well. And then lastly, my other tool is you can see my very well worn powder, my setting powder brush. So it's big and fluffy. And you just tap it lightly and then just tap around, and that kind of sets and finishes off the makeup. And also too, if you have a tendency to bring up any oil during the day, again, you can go back in, do a little tap, 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 just, get all the powder off and then do your makeup application. I also could not live without my, eyelash curler, for sure. It just opens up a small eye. I have a small eye, I have a close set eye. And so anything that I can do to open up that eye, and this is one of those tools that really helps me do that a lot. So those are my little secrets for the day. Let's see. Thanks for talking about eyebrows. I find that eyebrows are really important for a good look on Zoom calls. Absolutely, they are. Really, your eye makeup in general is really important. So it's like, being on screen. You are. And so, makeup artists are sitting with all those Hollywood actresses and actors as they're before they're going on to do a shoot. Well, we have to spend a little more time actually getting ready for our Zoom calls, when they are those important Zoom calls. If you're talking with your family, it's not, I'm not going to do it, but definitely for every other kind of Zoom call, absolutely. So, any other questions for you today? Please go ahead and jot them in the comments right now. So today what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to post a photo of your favorite holiday lipstick and go ahead and just tell us what the brand name is, whether it's Revlon or Bobbi Brown or MAC or whatever. So tell us the brand, and also tell us the color as well, in case any of us would like to know that. I wanted to clarify a couple of things because we're getting ready now next Wednesday to actually end our 12 days. And that's the day I'm going to be doing the drawing for a complimentary seat to my 5-week Style Shift program. And I just wanted to clarify, back when we talked about color, I didn't give you something specific to post that day. So what I'm going to suggest is you go back to the Powerful Presence with Marian Gellatley Facebook page and just scroll down to the videos are all in line, and just scroll down to the color video, and there you can post a picture of something from your closet that's a favorite color of yours. And then the day of the foundation topic, we didn't have to post a photo. I didn't think we needed to put our bras and panties online. So there I just asked you to tell us a favorite brand. And I noticed that several of you did that. And then today, again, it's going to be your holiday lipstick. And on Wednesday, because you're not going to have really a chance to go ahead and post anything, you will qualify to have an extra ticket if you actually show up live to this broadcast. So that's how we'll handle that. And then at the end, I'm going to be picking that free ticket. And maybe I should just say a moment that you can go onto my website if you'd like to know a little bit more about Style Shift. So if you go to powerful-presence.com/style-shift. So powerful-presence.com/style-shift. You can read a little bit about what we're going to be doing that day. And I can't remember now from one day to the next what I've said, but it's not about me teaching a whole lot. What it is, it's going to be about us experiencing where we want to go with our style. So taking the words, maybe, 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, my style recipe was all about, casually elegant with a twist of drama. And I've been feeling like I've been wanting to transition that a little bit. Just there's something inside me that wants to come out that's a little bit different, a little bit softer actually. And so what I want to be able to do is to come up with the words that really express that, and then also match and marry the words to the looks. And so that's what we do in this course. We also get to observe one another sharing what they have discovered. And also, I make suggestions on how you could do something or tweak something a little bit differently to really bring it home to where you want to go. So it's a very experiential. I keep this class small. And let's see, the price of the class normally is $297. And the value of it is probably $9.97. But when you can really hone in and nail your style, and you can make sure that you understand why things are or are not working in your closet, because we go through that as well, then what that does, it ends up saving you a lot of money as you go forward and add other things to your closet. And it makes you feel great about keeping or getting rid of the things that you've been hanging on to for a long time, that they haven't been working, but you've not really been sure why they haven't been working. And that's where I help you in this course really discover that, see that, and be able to explain that and give you alternatives. So that's what the class is all about. I hope one of you that are on today will be a lucky winner. And I'll look forward to seeing you back here next Wednesday, same time at 12:30 p.m. For day 12 of our 12 days of 2020 holiday style. So until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy this holiday season. So bye for now.